Foreign Affairs Minister speaking about the Italian Marines. Let's listen.
उपलब्धि है। बहुत कुछ हम लोग उनसे सीखते हैं, बहुत कुछ सीखा है। कभी ऐसा भी लगता है कि एक व्यक्ति की सीमित शक्ति जैसी होती है, उसको देखते हुए कि उनमें इतने बहुत कष्ट और पीड़ा का सामना करते हुए मन में कभी कोई ऐसा संकीर्ण कहीं कोई पहलू नहीं देखने को मिला है जो साधारण व्यक्तियों में आ सकता है। हम अपने आप को सौभाग्यशाली समझते हैं कि हमको ऐसा नेतृत्व मिला है और मेरी ईश्वर से ऊपर वाले से एक प्रार्थना है कि हमको ये नेतृत्व हमको एक उज्जवल भविष्य में हमको पहुंचाने में सफल रहे, कामयाब रहे।
Prime Minister today over the Italian Marines issue.
I meet the Prime Minister all the time. We have asked the Attorney General to appear in court and to bring to the court's notice developments that have happened. And as we move forward, both as far as the courts are concerned and as the steps that we will take in the ministry, hopefully in parallel, we will be keeping you informed. It's obviously something, as the Prime Minister has said, is a matter of deep concern. We have to factor in a lot of issues, but the aspirations and feelings of our own people are paramount, and this will be kept in mind as we keep you informed about the developments.
But has the Attorney General told you? I mean, are we on a sound legal footing where the case is concerned?
It's a matter that we'd rather have the court finally pronounce on. I don't think we should be pronouncing outside. We have analyzed it. The Attorney General will on our behalf and on behalf of the entire government put forward to the Supreme Court what our understanding is and what his advice has been, and the court will then take a final call. Hopefully that will take us forward, and hopefully that will address some of the concerns that are being felt today in the country.
So any action on the Italian ambassador, anything that you're considering so far?
We will, but as we take steps, we will let you know. We have to take steps. It's no question that we won't take steps, but as we take steps, we will let you know. As I said, we have to work in coordination with whatever happens in court, and we need to factor that into any decisions that we take, and we will need to keep the court informed about all decisions that we take. But you can be certain that this is a matter that will be treated with the greatest urgency, and it will be treated with determination to ensure that we do not suffer any of the dimensions that have been talked about in the recent hours.
So will he be sent back, sir? Will he send back?
Can't give any answer today. I've said everything that is necessary to ensure the dignity and the primacy of India in this matter will be preserved. I can assure you that. नहीं, वो चीफ वो अटॉर्नी जनरल हैंडल कर रहे हैं, वो बताएंगे कोर्ट से बात करने के बाद.
Dignity and primacy of India will be maintained at all costs, says External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid, with not a shred of irony in his voice, clearly sidestepping the glaring fact that India is already a bit of a laughing stock on the international stage. He talks about how he says he has no idea really about the Italian ambassador Daniele Mancini, because the Supreme Court has said that he cannot leave based on the Attorney General's advice to the court. Daniele Mancini, remember, the Italian ambassador, talked a snook at the establishment, said that he will not leave until a competent authority asks him to leave. Of course, there is a view that Daniele Mancini shouldn't be allowed to leave, considering he's the liar we need to keep within the country, since he has lied to India's apex court. And his diplomatic immunity does not really apply in this particular case, because the law of the land applies when you lie to a Supreme Court of a country. Let's go across to our associate editor Athir Khan, more on this story. Athir, what precisely, External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid said many things, not all of them really make a lot of sense at this time. But what exactly did he say?
Well, Shiv, let's hear it from the horses of Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, who had mentioned this in the Supreme Court today. He's with us. I'll just connect you with him so that you can ask him questions. Hello.
Dr. Swamy, this is
Yes.
Shiv Arur here. Thanks for speaking the headlines today.
Yes.
Salman Khurshid, sir, just
Yes.
a moment ago, I don't know if you heard him. He
Yes.
says, we will maintain the primacy and dignity of India in this Italian Marines case. Isn't that a joke? Isn't that too late?
It is late, but then we have other remedies for that. This government is one of the most important governments in the history of the world, not only in the history of India. And we can try and correct it as citizens by going to the Supreme Court. Today, I am very happy to report that the Supreme Court has now told the Italian ambassador through the Attorney General that he cannot leave the country till this case is heard. And that is the next date on 18th. In the meantime, they have said you file a petition and we'll see whether the contempt is made out or not. And we therefore will listen to you then. But the main prayer today I made was that the Italian ambassador should not be allowed to leave the country. It has been accepted by the court, and the court has issued directions to the Italian ambassador as well as to the Attorney General.
Dr. Swamy, what is the next step as far as this is concerned? Because, March the 18th is very close. So what happens next?
Next is that the Italian ambassador will have to be present, because if my contempt petition is accepted, then notice will go to him, and therefore once it goes to him, he has to be present in court, and the court thinks that he has violated the contempt law, section 2. Then he will have to be punished, and there's no diplomatic immunity in this. There's wrongly being spread that he has diplomatic immunity. The day he accepted to file a petition, the affidavit in the Supreme Court, he has automatically waived that diplomatic immunity, and also under section 41, article 41 of the Diplomatic Immunity Vienna Convention Act, there are exceptions under which this immunity can be waived from our side also.
Dr. Swamy, final question before I let you go.
Yes.
Pertaining to the inquiries that you have made through your sources and your contacts, what
Yes.
is the sense that you're getting about this entire case? How was this made possible?
Well, I think there has been miscalculation because we have in our country on matters dealing with Italy a certain sensitivity. And in that process, somebody has taken liberties with us. And who are all the people? That is for a further investigation, for which I will be demanding from the Prime Minister a full-fledged inquiry into how this whole thing happened, how such a diplomatic disgraceful behavior could take place. Unless somebody has given them some assurance that nothing will happen to you, I don't think any rational country would have done what they have done.
Dr. Subramanian Swamy, thanks for speaking the headlines today. I also want to go across to NCP member and senior criminal lawyer Majid Memon for a perspective as well. Mr. Memon, what are you making of the case as it stands right now? The government has approached the Supreme Court. Where do things stand legally as far as India is concerned?
You see, the Supreme Court has fixed the matter for further hearing on the 18th. Until then, the status quo is required to be maintained. It only serves the interest of justice. Because whether there is substance in what is contended in the petition or there is no substance is a matter to be discussed later, and the Supreme Court would decide on that. So Mr. Swamy must not feel, unduly jubilant that, well, he has done something great. Now, number two, the refusal of handing over those people back to India has a twofold, fallout, both legal as well as diplomatic.
Yes.
Now, the Prime Minister has already gone on record yesterday, having said it on the floor of the Parliament aloud, that, well, if the Italian government betrays and this betrayal continues, the consequences will be drastic. So the government indeed has taken a very serious note of it, and the government would act in the...
Okay. Mr. Memon, just hold on with me. Dr. Subramanian Swamy is...
फाइल की थी जिसके लिए मुझे परमिशन लेनी होती है अटॉर्नी जनरल की, तो मैंने अटॉर्नी जनरल को चिट्ठी कल लिखी थी, तो उन्होंने शाम को चिट्ठी लिखा कि मुझे थोड़ा समय दीजिए। लेकिन मुझे डर था या भय था कि इटालियन एम्बेसडर इस बीच में कहीं देश छोड़कर ना चले जाएं। तो मैं आज कोर्ट में गया और मैंने अटॉर्नी जनरल को भी सूचना दी कि मैं कोर्ट में 10:30 बजे मेंशन करूंगा। तो अटॉर्नी जनरल खुद आए और उन्होंने सारी जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस हुई है, ऑफिशियल कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया और इटली के साथ, वो उन्होंने पेश की और पेश करने के बाद ये बताया कि इटालियन गवर्नमेंट ने ऑफिशियली सूचित कर दिया है कि हम इस मरीन्स को वापस नहीं भेजेंगे। और उन्होंने कहा कि जो अश्योरेंस दी थी, आश्वासन दी थी शपथ पर, उसका उल्लंघन हुआ है, इतना ही कहा। उन्होंने कोई कंटेम्प्ट की बात नहीं की। तब मैंने कंटेम्प्ट की बात उठाई तो चीफ जस्टिस ने कहा कि आपके पास तो पिटीशन हमारे सामने नहीं है, हम आपकी बहस कैसे सुनेंगे। मैंने कहा सुनने की सवाल नहीं है, इस बीच में एम्बेसडर देश छोड़ के चले जाएंगे तो फिर कोई कंटेम्प्ट ही नहीं रहेगा। तो उन्होंने फिर ऑर्डर पास की कि अगले 22 मार्च को मीटिंग सुनवाई होगी और इस बीच में एम्बेसडर को आदेश दिया है कि आप देश नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं। तो ये सरकार को भी उन्होंने बता दिया है कि सब जगह बता दो कि इनको देश छोड़ना नहीं है। और तो मैं समझता हूं कि जो आज एक मेरा प्रार्थना थी उसको मान लिया है। अब उन्होंने कहा कि आप पिटीशन फाइल करिए, हम देखेंगे इस पर क्या कार्रवाई हो सकती है। मैं अटॉर्नी जनरल को फिर याद दिलाऊंगा कि मुझे अनुमति दें या मुझे सीधा कोर्ट जाने के लिए अनुमति दें। कंटेम्प्ट फाइल करनी है, इटालियन एम्बेसडर को सजा देनी है कि उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट की अपमान किया है, ये हम सहन नहीं कर सकते। इस देश का सारा जो आस्था है वो समाप्त हो जाएगी।
So, what has the Supreme Court have ordered today?
Well, today, yesterday I had asked the Attorney General to give me permission to file a contempt petition against the Italian ambassador. And the Italian ambassador was likely to leave the country. So the Attorney General asked me for some more time because he's studying the documents. So I thought that I should come to court today and ask the court to restrain the Italian ambassador from leaving the country. And I also informed the Attorney General, who was kind enough to be present, and he gave all the official correspondence between the government and government of Italy, and he pointed out the government of Italy has flatly said that they will not send these Marines back, and therefore the Attorney General pointed out that the ambassador had gone against the written, the sworn promise he gave. So I then got up and started arguing that the Chief Justice said, there is no petition of yours before us, so we will not hear you. I said the problem is the urgency, because the ambassador may leave the country and then there will be nothing left for us to pursue. So he said, no, you file a petition, then we will consider the matter. But when he dictated the order, he accepted my point, and he has issued orders that the Italian ambassador will not leave the country, and the government of India should have this properly communicated to him and take necessary steps. So I think this is a very major step, because this is a huge insult to the Supreme Court. It has shaken the confidence of the people, whether foreign powers can take our Supreme Court so lightly. So it's a very, very serious contempt, and therefore I intend to file the full petition tomorrow, hopefully with the permission of the Attorney General.
अगर इसके बाद भी वो जिस तरह से उन्होंने कोर्ट में हलफनामा देने के बाद ये मना कर दिया कि हमारे लोग नहीं आएंगे वापस, अगर वो देश छोड़कर जाते हैं तो क्या सरकार,
तो उसमें फिर तो एक्स पार्टी ऑर्डर पास करनी चाहिए और इंटरपोल को नोटिस देना चाहिए, इसको पकड़ के हिंदुस्तान लाओ।
थैंक यू सर। बाय।
Let's go straight across now and get you a legal perspective. We're joined on the phone line by two senior lawyers, Sanjay Hegde and Rahul Narichania. Mr. Hegde, I'd like to come to you first. The Italian ambassador has been restrained from leaving India at this time, at least till the 18th of March. What happens next legally? What is the government? What can the government do right now? What are the options?
The government will no doubt communicate the order to the Italian ambassador. It will also leave suitable instructions at all airports and other places from which access out of India is possible. I doubt that, given the nature of the situation, that there will be any disobedience of this order, at least till the 18th of March. The Supreme Court will consider further steps after receiving a response or receiving a petition from anybody, including Dr. Swamy. The basic question which the Supreme Court is confronted with is, has its order been breached?
Yes.
It may be a bit premature because till the 22nd, the Italians still have time to think again. It is possible that there might yet be voluntary compliance based upon their understanding of the pressures that are brought upon them legally and extra-legally.
Rahul Narichania, can I get your perspective on the same question, what the government can do at this time as far as the Italian ambassador is concerned?
Well, as far as the Indian government stands, I personally believe that the government should take this up very strongly on a diplomatic level with the Italian government. In my view, this is a serious breach of faith and breach of trust. If you don't trust a government, who do you trust? When the Italian envoy has given an undertaking to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of our land, one would expect that this undertaking would be respected. The Italian government hasn't respected that undertaking given, and in my view, it constitutes contempt of court. Now, it's one thing for the Italian government to say that the envoy is entitled to claim sovereign immunity, but by virtue of having given the undertaking to the Supreme Court,
yes,
I think they have waived that right to claim immunity. And I personally believe that the Indian government should take this matter very strongly. It must let the Italian government know that the Indian government cannot be taken for a ride in this manner.
Well, it cannot be taken for a ride in this manner in case it already hasn't been taken for a ride. Both of you gentlemen, please stay with me for a moment. I want you to listen with me to what the External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid said to journalists just a short while ago. Here's what he said.
We have asked the Attorney General to appear in court and to bring to the court's notice developments which have happened. And as we move forward, both as far as the courts are concerned and as the steps that we will take in the ministry, hopefully in parallel, we will be keeping you informed. It's obviously something, as the Prime Minister has said, is a matter of deep concern. We have to factor in a lot of issues, but the aspirations and feelings of our own people are paramount, and this will be kept in mind.
Associate Editor Atir Khan has had this exclusive conversation with Dr. Subramanian Swamy on what happened in court. Here it is.
We have with us Subramanian Swamy to speak to us about the Italian Marines issue. Sir, you have mentioned this in the Supreme Court today. What happened?
Well, see, I have wanted to file a contempt petition against the Italian ambassador. Now, unfortunately, under the law, we need the permission of the Attorney General. And so, when I mentioned this in the court, the Chief Justice said, there's no petition of yours. How can I entertain like this, anybody and everybody coming? So I told them the urgency is that the ambassador may leave the country. Then there's nothing to pursue. And therefore, some steps have to be taken. That's why I'm making a mention. However, I have a petition, but that is with the Attorney General, and the Attorney General has to give me permission. Otherwise, you take suo motu notice, I'll have no problem. After that, I think the matter sunk with the court, and therefore, when the orders were issued, there was a notice sent to all the applicants, the 2 Marines, which are to be delivered through the ambassador, and certainly also the more important thing is that the court said that the Italian ambassador, Mr. Mancini, is directed not to leave the country till 18th of December, when he has to be present in court.
Sir, clearly, when he's given an undertaking to Supreme Court, he's liable to the court's jurisdiction.
As far as immunity is concerned, he lost it the day he filed that affidavit. That's called voluntary waiver of immunity under the law. There's also a section 41 of the Vienna Convention, which says there are exceptions under which immunity doesn't apply. So you know that there have been occasions where people holding diplomatic positions have been arrested. The IMF chief was arrested. The Frenchman was arrested. So there are many others also who are arrested. This happens. In this particular case, there is no immunity at all because he is voluntarily waived that immunity. So now it's a very scandalous thing that you give a affidavit to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court on that basis records it, and then on that basis gives you an extraordinary concession of going to go and quickly to vote. It shakes the confidence of the public in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court does nothing. That's why I think contempt is necessary. And under the contempt, that's a criminal contempt, which means the ambassador could serve a term in jail.
So what are the options now? What will be your future course of action?
My future course of action is to seek phone up the Attorney General and say, please give me permission, and have my petition ready. And if he doesn't give me permission by 16th, I will file this petition anyway, saying that the permission is expected.
Thank you for speaking with Headlines today, Mr. Subramaniam.